Welcome to another video from Natasha, and this week I'm going to show you how to hand paint a scary clown based on Pennywise, as well as some nail polish effects for the nails that are really convincing, and some liquid latex on the fingers, so stay tuned. As always, I'm going to begin by cleansing and filing my nails and performing cuticle work, and there's a link in the top right corner that shows you how to do this. And I'm using React Base Coat by Morgan Taylor this week because I do not want these nails to peel off when I perform some of the art later. Beginning with my favourite black, which is Little Black Dress from Morgan Taylor, I'm just going to apply this to whichever nail that I want to paint the clown on. So for me, I'm applying it to my ring finger. And this polish has such a fantastic coverage that it only requires one coat. If you do get any on the skin, just clean it up with a brush dipped in acetone or nail polish remover. And now it's time to paint that clown. I'm going to be using acrylic paint to do this, and I've sped it up as it is a little bit time consuming. And as always, full details to all the products that I've used are in the description. I've begun with a white and created almost like 3 balls to give the shape of a head, and then slightly diluted the white to go around the sides to give us a base for the hair. This is to make the red pop when we add it later. Using some crimson paint and my 00 brush, I'm painting a nose. And then to get a brush fine enough for my details, I chopped most of a 50 artist brush to pieces. After creating the basic shape of the eyes, we're going to do our mouth, and I've just marked out the areas I want to go round with my brush. I am following an image from Google of Pennywise as my inspiration. The great thing about acrylic paint is you can keep adding to it, and if you add too much, you can just cover it up with another colour. And it's best with an image like this to build it up in layers, so it might look pretty rubbish at the moment, but as we add more and more to it, it'll start to look really effective. You could use nail polish to produce a similar look, however it is much easier with acrylic paint as it's a bit more forgiving and it doesn't go quite as thick on the nail, so you can keep adding layers and layers. We're going to perfect those eyes now, and going back in with a white, we're going to make the eyes look more detailed and more refined, and then add blue for the iris. We're at the stage now of adding our clown makeup, and it will really start to take shape now. You can change the colours to whatever you wish, but I wanted to use Pennywise as my inspiration because it is the only clown that has ever really freaked me out. And don't panic if you make any mistakes. As you can see here, I kind of messed up the eyebrows, so I went back in with some white just to correct it, and then started adding some highlighting to the hair. To create the look of bloodshot eyes, just water down the red really well, and then remove any excess with a dry brush. Add a white dot to each of the irises to give a more realistic look. And then for my clown, I wanted to make it slightly different, so I gave it really sharp, nasty teeth. To make those teeth look super sharp, just take some watered down black and add some detailing afterwards. To create a more 3D effect, mix a very small amount of black with the red, and then just add it around the head outline, and then blend it in with some hair strokes. Clean any paint off the skin using a pad dipped in acetone or nail polish remover. Little white added to your red, add some highlights to one side of the nose and the lips, and then with your black and red, add some definition to the other side of the nose and lips. Finish off the hair by adding some wavy lines of a lighter red to give the impression of highlights from the light. And then to finish the look off, we're going to add shading to the face by using a very watered down mix of just black and water. Add the lines around where the evil facial expressions would be, and then add shading all around the outside of the face as well. If you put too much on, don't worry, just go back in with just water on your brush and soften the look by rubbing over it. Taking some white watered down on a 00 brush, just apply some fan-like strokes under the neck and add some colours, and then soften them with a watered down brush. I want to keep the focus on the face, so I'm trying to keep this as gentle and subtle as possible, and then I'm going to finish off the look with some watered down black around the neck and drawing it down to add shading. Once your design is dry, it's time to apply a generous 1 or 2 layers of top coat, and this is where the design really comes to life. I'm using first a layer of Morgan Taylor React top coat, as this is supposed to make nail polish last a lot longer, and I want to keep this design for as long as possible. Now for our other nails, I'm going to begin with the aptly named Bloodline from CN Divine Luxe. And I am struggling a little bit with this brush as it appears to have gone a bit gloopy in the bottle, sadly. Once that first layer is almost touch dry, go in with the lighter red like Morgan Taylor's Pretty Woman and apply it over the top. It doesn't have to be too neat as we're going to be going in with another colour over the top of this. Now apply a black over the top of all of your red nails, obviously not the clown, and try and make this one as neat as possible. And then add a layer of a fast drying top coat, I'm using HK Girl, and apply this to all of your nails. Once it's applied to all the nails, just take a hairdryer on a medium to low setting and blast them for about 15 to 30 seconds. Straight after hair drying, take a fine dotting tool and start to pull through that polish where you want your scratch marks or claw marks to be. It should start to wrinkle on the top coat, and this is because we've blasted it with the hairdryer. Open up the marks if you want some more gory looking blood to show through underneath, and on the bare nail, take a mixture of your dark and your light reds and just use a dotting tool to pat them through to give the look of raw flesh. As the polish starts to dry, keep patting to give a textured, fleshy look underneath. Repeat exactly the same process with the other nails, including tearing the initial polish design with your dotting tool and then filling in the gaps underneath with the light and dark red, and keep patting with your dotting tool until the polish starts to dry to give that really nasty, sort of weepy, disgusting, bloody texture. Now taking a flesh colour like Tan My Hide by Morgan Taylor and my fine detail brush, I'm just going to go gently around the edges of the black polish which we tore back, and this is to give the impression of skin showing through underneath. Don't worry if you apply too much, just use a dry brush to take some off, or alternatively you can just go back in with nail polish over the top to hide some of where you've applied it. Repeat this process on all of the torn nails. Now that we've finished all of our gory nails, we can add some detailing to the skin if you like, and I'm just using a liquid latex that I picked up online. The links for all the products are in the description, and using an old brush, just pat some onto the skin above where the cut effect is on the nail and use your fingers to blend it in. Then blast it with a hairdryer to dry that first layer before applying a second layer and doing the same thing again. When it's almost dry, take a dotting tool and just put a tear into the top of that liquid latex and lift up the sides. This is my first go with liquid latex, so I'm definitely not an expert, but I just wanted to show you, even if you haven't tried it before, you can get pretty good results. Using my dupe flash palette, which I've put the link to in the description, and just an art brush, I've applied some red into the cut effect, and then mixing a couple of colours from the palette over the top of the latex to try and blend it into my skin. And then just using my fingers, I finished off blending into the skin. Blend a slightly purpley tone in around the cut, and it gives the impression of it looking really angry and sore. Then taking some fake gel blood, I'm just going to add this with a brush into the cut and around the cuticle area. However, I felt this didn't look very convincing and a bit more like the strawberry sauce on ice cream, so I added some dark red nail polish into it, and I was much happier with that look. Do this on all the nails on your fake cuts and spread it around the cuticle area to give a really convincing bloody look. And there you go, your look is completed. And whilst this isn't my prettiest look, ooh, look at that peeling skin. Ugh. Blech. It is one of my most favourite looks, just because I had to think outside the box a little bit to try and create the scar look on the nails. Leave me a comment down below to let me know what you liked or didn't like in this tutorial, and let me know what you think of clowns. I'm not normally bothered by them, but I have to say Pennywise from Stephen King's It was enough for me to turn off about halfway into the movie, and I certainly won't be watching it when it's re-released next year. Thank you very much for watching today, and please don't forget to check out my other videos. I upload twice a week with my personal vlogs on a Wednesday, nail art tutorials on a Saturday, and soon to come a lot more lifestyle videos. So hit that subscribe button to make sure that you never miss out.